Coming up on Mountain News this morning, as our region continues to look forward after devastating flooding, many are left living in temporary housing. And with the help of his community, a young Kentucky boy gives back to an Eastern Kentucky school that saw destruction as floodwaters rose in its classrooms.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning to you. It's almost 5 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. And, well, we're still laboring this week. Let's take it over to Brandon for a look at our forecast this morning. And, Brandon, well, I guess it's much calmer this morning than what it was yesterday morning, I guess.
Yes, in some ways. Yeah. Now, there is a little bit more fog out there this morning, so if you look at live pinpoint Doppler radar, you're going to see, well, it looks like a lot of ground clear, but it's scanning a lot of fog this morning, but it's also scanning a few scattered showers. Let me see if I can draw some of the areas, because I know they're kind of hard to see on here where we're seeing those showers. Here is one up this way near Jackson, just north of Jackson. Here is one basically into parts of Leslie County, and a couple out here toward the borders there of Laurel and Pulaski and Whitley and McCreary counties out there. So again, a couple spots showing up. There is some dense fog out there this morning, especially in the northern parts of the area. Lots of zeros showing up there. And again, it's getting worse by the minute there in some locations, especially up toward the Big Sandy and upper Kentucky River up toward I-64 and the Mountain Parkway. So we'll keep an eye on those for you. The Weather Service has issued a dense fog advisory until 10 o'clock this morning for the entire region, so they expect it to get a little bit worse. So we're going to continue to watch that for you as well. Be careful, slow it down, use those low beams. Temperatures very similar to where they were this time yesterday morning. 64 Wise to 70 in, let's see here, Jackson, Jonesville, Manchester, London, Somerset, and Jacksboro. I expect a lot of those folks to drop into the upper 60s before it's all said and done. Normal day for the most part on the coffee meter, but if you're going back to school or back to work today, you'll need a little bit extra to get you going. And then, of course, the out-the-door forecast features that fog, and again, some rain chances back and forth throughout the day as we see more scattered chances today, more spotty chances, but they will still be around. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. While some people spent the weekend by the lake for the holiday weekend, some did so because it is the only place they can currently call home. Our buddy Forbes has more from Letcher County, where families are still looking for stability after losing it all to the historic floodwaters.
The waters receded more than 1 month ago, but the memories continue to flood those impacted.
One of my good friends who's like, come help me get my papa out of his house. So we had to swim from behind the bank to behind the school to get his papa.
Jimmy Burke and his family rely on the Fish Pond Lake campsite as a refuge after the waters shocked their small town of Neon.
I remember the old man not wanting to leave his house because he'd been there for so many years and all his stuff. And I remember I could feel the electricity in my legs and stuff.
The same waters that destroyed their cars and created the mudslide that hit their home.
How quick can it be taken away from you?
Leaving the family and many families in their same situation to look at everything they lost.
I see a lot of people that are grateful for what they do have, but I'm pretty sure they'd want to go home if they could.
Making the hard decision of where to set up a new camp permanently.
So we plan to go to Tennessee and just start over.
Saying though it is time to rebuild a life on dry land.
Well, we're starting phase 2. Have y'all signed up for the plyboard and the sheetrock yet? No.
But this is home for everybody. I mean, I've lived here pretty much my whole life, so it'll always be home, but it'll never be the same.
They will forever be grateful for the people who helped them keep their heads above. In Letcher County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Although his family plans to leave the area soon, Burke hopes to remind people of those who are not as fortunate, those who are still working to clean up and rebuild in the place they always called home. Shelter One at Fish Pond Lake is still accepting food and cleaning items to help those families through the process. Well, we're getting a look at travel trailers making their way to Eastern Kentucky. The Transportation Cabinet shared this video on Facebook. The state of Louisiana is donating hundreds of trailers to help flood victims. They were originally used in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. The first fleet made its way to Kentucky on Thursday. Some are set up in Perry County Park right now. They'll provide temporary housing for people impacted by flooding. And an 11-year-old boy from Boone County is giving back to Eastern Kentucky. Owen Crawford visited our region shortly after the flood swept through. His mom contacted the librarian at Martha Jane Potter Elementary in Letcher County to see how he could help. Well, with efforts from his community, he was able to donate more than 500 books to the school.
For all of us to be able to look at him and see such a big heart, such a drive to want to help others.
Well, we are told Owen has more plans in store to help his neighbors in Eastern Kentucky. He says he was happy to help other kids keep up with their education. More than 7,600 Eastern Kentucky students still haven't returned to school. That includes 4 school districts and 2 Perry County elementary schools. A flood relief bill gives flood-affected schools more flexibility on attendance this year. Here in Perry County, Buckhorn and Robinson elementary students will go to school at A.B. Combs Elementary starting today. Knott County schools are set to start on the 19th, and Letcher County classes begin on September 21st. Governor Andy Beshear returns to the mountains today. 30th District Senator Brennan Smith and the governor are having a news conference at 10:30 this morning at Perry County Park. They are going to announce infrastructure and economic development projects, as well as providing an update on flood recovery efforts here in the mountains. Volunteers in Eastern Kentucky spent their Labor Day continuing flood cleanup. We caught up with about a dozen volunteers with Samaritan's Purse as they continue to rip out floors and drywall in Breathitt County homes. It's just been more than 40 days since the historic flood engulfed much of Eastern Kentucky. So far, they've cleared out 70 homes with about 260 to go. Some volunteers are as far away as Idaho. They say it was an honor to serve others on Labor Day.
I can't think of a better thing to do, though. I know this is a holiday, but I can't think of a better thing to do on Labor Day than to give some labor and help people who are down. You know, I think that's a good thing to do.
One homeowner says that she's thankful the group has come to her aid. Well, thank you so much for getting your Tuesday morning started with us here on Mountain News this morning. When we come back, there's light at the end of the tunnel for people affected by severe flooding down in Mississippi. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes.
And dense fog is the name of the game this morning, but after that lifts, scattered showers will be the story. I'll have the latest forecast in about 3 minutes.